All right, part 2 to skill 3 is solving a system of inequalities. And we still do this the same way. What I suggest you doing is using your highlighting feature so you can identify which line is which. So I'm going to go ahead for the first one, and I'm going to use 2 colors. I'm going to go with pink and yellow. All right. So when I go to graph, y is greater than or equal to 2x minus 5, I note that it is a solid line. And then when I go to graph y is less than negative x plus 1, I note that it is dashed because it doesn't have the equals underneath it. So now we graph. I go to negative 5 on the y-axis. That's my slope-intercept. I go up, or I'm sorry, that's my y-intercept. I go up 2 over 1. And I put a solid line through those points. Next, I'm going to go ahead and shade. So I want to test. Now, one of the easier ways, rather than doing all that testing, is just look. This says y is less than, or I'm sorry, y is greater than. Well, when y's are big, they would be in the positive direction, so above or up. So if I go to my line that I just drew, I'll go to the y-axis and I go above it, greater than, right? Then I know that these are all solutions anywhere on that arrow that I just drew. So I know that a solution to that equation or inequality would be anything up here. So that's a shortcut. You can still test a point, but I'm giving you guys a shortcut. Now if I tested, say 0, 0, and plug it in here, I get 0 is greater than or equal to negative 5, and that's true. So I know that 0, 0 is a solution. Okay. Now we're going to go ahead and graph y is less than or equal to negative x plus 1. So I find 1. I go down 1 over 1. Now remember I said it was a dashed line, so I'm going to dash this line. And greater than would be this direction. Less than would be this direction. So I look, it's y is less than. So I'm going to shade everything below that line. So I'm going to do all of this in here. Shade it all. Okay. And we think of this kind of like an and statement. A solution is anywhere they intersect. So what I'm looking for is anywhere that the pink intersects with the yellow. So pink is here and yellow is here. They intersect in this region right here. So a coordinate that lies in this region here would work for both my yellow and my pink inequalities. So I will take a darker color and I would shade in the overlapping region. Okay. And maybe I identify with an arrow a solution. So like right here, solution. So this would be negative 5, 0 as a solution. If I tested it in the first equation, I get 0 is greater than or equal to 2 times negative 5 minus 5. So 0 is greater than or equal to, throw that all in your calculator, you get negative 10 minus 5, negative 15, and this is true. That's the pink inequality. And if I go ahead and test negative 5, 0 in the yellow, I get 0 is less than negative times negative 5 plus 1. This makes a positive 5 right here. So that makes 6. So I get 0 is less than 6. That is also true, and that was true for the yellow. Because it works for both of these, negative 5, 0 is one possible solution to my system of inequalities. So again, we're looking for the overlap. Let's do it again. Let's look right over here. And we're going to go ahead and give these some colors. So this time I'm going to use blue and this light purple. Okay, so two different colors here. All right, so I got a blue. This is going to be dashed. I'm going to use a D for dashed, and my other equation is going to be a solid, so S for solid. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and graph the first inequality. Put a point at 1, up 1 over 2, and I'm going to dash that line in. I'm going to shade all of my possible solutions. Notice that it is y is greater than, that would be above the line. So I'm going to go ahead and shade all of these coordinates in here, because any of those will work for my first equation. All right, for the next one, y is greater than or equal to negative 2. So that is a horizontal line at negative 2. Negative 2 is here. There's no rise or run. It is a solid line. So we put a solid line in. And it is y is greater than, so that's going to be above, right? So any of that area above. Up here. And you can see where I overlapped. Okay, it's a little bit hard with these colors I chose, but let's go with this one for the overlap. You can see here, it's above that solid line and above this dashed line. That's where the overlap takes place. Okay, and so that's, any of these points in there are solutions. So any of these points, these are all solutions and will work for both of these inequalities. All right. And we're going to try one more. We're going to go with number 10. And I'm going to use yellow for my first one and orange for my second one. Or this brown, whatever color that is. I'm going to plot, first identify dashed or solid. This is dashed. And this is solid. So we're going to do the dashed one is going to be at 1 up 2 over 1. We dash it in. Okay. It is y greater than, so we're going to go above that line, so anywhere up here. So we're going to shade that area in. And then we're going to go ahead and graph this line at down to negative 6, up 2 over 1. We're going to draw in a solid line. Now, if these were just systems of equations, we would have no solution because these are both parallel lines. But we're looking for the overlap, so we go to our line. Notice it is y is less than, so I'm going to shade below. That's everywhere down here. And I notice that none of my shadings overlap. Because none of them overlap, then this is my solution. There are no solutions.